Choosing to attend APU has been a great adventure. It has been beneficial to me and my family. APU has been supportive emotionally and physically with my choice of becoming a teacher. I came into APU knowing I wanted to get my master's and credential, but never knew there was a possibility of getting into digital teaching. I overheard another colleague of mine in the credential program talking about how he had switched over to this new master's program. I love technology and was ecstatic. I was bringing something new into a classroom. I was in Dr. Kaiser's office the next day signing my switch of programs contract. I am a first-year teacher that is trying to balance teaching, school, grade level meetings, VITSA, mother, and wife into an organized, chaotic daily schedule. I never knew that I was stacking my plate pretty high when I entered this program, but felt that technology was something I felt comfortable enough to take on. My goal for pursuing this degree was that I wanted to stick out from others and bring something to a school that not many teachers had had exposure to before. I wanted to be that teacher that others wanted to come observe because of all the different things I would be incorporating into my lessons. Attending APU has definitely brought me closer to God. I didn't know about its Christian background at first, so when I had filled out my paperwork, I was ready to experience such a university. APU has definitely guided me through paths that I find myself self-questioning if it's the right direction. God has always had a way of guiding me in the right direction. Completing this degree definitely brings solitude to my life. Both my husband and my sister have now been inspired to go back to school and work on their life goals. I have grown dramatically as an educator throughout this program. Strategies that I've used prior to the program I taught because others didn't work, but I never really knew why it didn't work. Now I have that knowledge as an educator to know that how students learn is how they establish their learning. Why didn't that student comprehend the lesson before? Now I know the reasoning. Since my master's program, I've been hired as a 4th grade teacher. With this new job also comes VITSA, district trainings, and grade level leader responsibilities. Being a first-year teacher is exhausting. Paperwork, follow-ups, SITs, IEPs are one after another. I have been told by many of my colleagues that your first year as a teacher is survival, and that's how I feel. I really feel that the first months of school I was just trying to keep my head above water. I have definitely grown with my knowledge of technology since the beginning of this program. There are a lot of resources that I have used and become more familiar with now because of having more hands-on experience with them. Education 512. Instructor Hernandez did a great way in taking step-by-step with her lessons. I feel that I benefited mostly from using Excel documents as a way to view students' growth with immediate assessment results. Also using spreadsheets on Excel for both educational and personal purposes. Learning how to use the WebQuest for in-class and at-home instruction was very beneficial to me. The WebQuest that I created for this class, I'm actually using this in my classroom right now for our second trimester project, a California brochure. The website capture as well is very beneficial to me because I have one student that is not allowed to use the internet due to his religious background. So using the web capture, I am able to take a snapshot of the website and have him view the same information as the whole class. It is time consuming, but he is still able to improve his computer skills. Education 514. Instructor Selleck was very knowledgeable of his digital video software. This was my favorite class so far in the program. He was very hands-on, and you could see his passion in his instruction of using video software in his own classroom. One thing that really helped me with my limitations in my school is being able to download clips from YouTube, TeacherTube, etc. I cannot watch YouTube in my classroom due to it being blocked by the district, but being able to download a video and saving it on my flash drive was absolutely amazing. I am then able to let my visual learners see that video that just gets the lesson across within a 3-minute time span. Learning how to shoot and edit videos was something I never knew how to do before. The one video we have made as a class so far has been a video where students have remembered what they have learned. Education 515. Professor McKean. taught about evolving technology in the classroom as well as using it in his instructional techniques. McKean uses podcasts in his instruction as well as teaching us how to incorporate it in our instruction was very beneficial. Surprisingly enough, a lot of my 4th grade students use an iPod, so them knowing that they can download a lesson to help them reinforce their learning was exciting for them. I have also used Audacity numerous times in my classroom. I have a lot of students that need that reteach of a lesson, and hear it again at their own pace has been very beneficial. Education 522. Professor Kordoff is extremely passionate about her own classroom and instruction. Utilizing knowledge of multiple intelligences and how I can adapt or differentiate my lessons to benefit all my learners in my classroom was put into use right away. Developing a unit plan on food chains allowed me to target all of the multiple intelligences in my classroom. Education 526. Professor Gilbreth has been very supportive of me choosing to enroll in Education 522 and 526 at the same time. This class has been an overall reflection and demonstrating my skills I have learned and applied throughout my master's program. My Action Research Report. My ultimate goal as an educator is to make that difference in student learning. My action research project was researching an area that I would like to pursue involves student motivation and achievement. In particular, I want to investigate techniques and strategies to increase the number of students who turn in homework assignments. In correlation, I wanted to see whether students who turn in assignments score higher on class assessments. I also compared the data with students' performance on a one-norm-based test given by the school district. In many low-income schools, the school-to-home connection is quite low in terms of homework completion and academic content. According to many sources, students who complete homework do better on standardized tests. I wanted to see if this was true, and I wanted to uncover methods to extract homework from students. My objective was to determine what techniques could be used to motivate students to turn in homework assignments, and whether or not homework had an effect on test results, performance, and grades. My research question was driven by a quantitative date. My control data would be the data that I possess right now. On average, only 7% of my students turned in homework, and only 4% turned in homework that was completed correctly. Currently, I'm using intrinsic rewards to motivate students to complete assignments. I was using 3 different techniques to help improve homework. Each would be used for 2 weeks. The first technique would be using a homework sheet that would be signed by parents and students. Students would write down assignments and grades for those assignments, and students would need to have parents sign the form at the end of 2 weeks. The second technique would be to intentionally make homework assignments as appealing as possible. The third and final technique that I used was involving a homework star chart inside of the classroom. Students who turned in all their homework would be given a prize for their efforts at the end of 2 weeks. My question was, which of these techniques would mostly increase my students who turn in homework assignments in my classroom? I collected data on my SnapGrades homework sheet. I pretty much paired with what my findings from earlier that year, when I discovered that on average 6% of my students turned in homework assignments. Students were given a district exam at the end of every 9 weeks, and that's how I correspondingly gave my data from my homework to the exam that was taken. I had a percentage of homework completion. Homework chart with strategy 1 had 35% of my students turn in homework. The creative, appealing homework, strategy 2, had about 87%. My sticker chart, strategy 3, gave about 37%. There are many ways in which this study would influence my current teaching methods. I have learned that any of my 3 methods increase in attention to homework results as an increase in homework participation. I was surprised by these results. Oftentimes, I would assign homework and spend little time correcting, collecting, or discussing the work in class. I believe that this attention to schoolwork helps students remember to turn in assignments and work that would count for something. My question was easily answered. More creative or more fun assignments drew the largest participation. There was an average of 65% of my students who turned in their fun assignments. I think that in the future, I will make more of an effort to come up with assignments that seem more appealing to students. My unit plan. For my unit plan, I chose to focus on food chains. Students observed a food chain and showing how each living thing gets its food. My unit went into further details like how animals eat plants and some animals eat other animals. Students also investigated that each link in this chain is food for the next link. They were able to visualize that a food chain always starts with a plant life and ends with an animal. They were introduced to new academic vocabulary such as habitat, producers, consumers, decomposers, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and energy pyramids. Students would be divided into 6 equal groups. Each group had sometimes been assigned a topic for research, choosing either habitat, consumers, decomposers, herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores. Students also discussed with their group to create a PowerPoint slideshow that instructs the rest of the class the basics of the topic, including the following: maybe definitions, photo examples, diagrams, or how the topic fits into a food web. Students were also given time to do research on the internet or by using books in the classroom or library. Students gave oral presentations of their slideshow and created as a group to the rest of the class using the smartboard. One of their final assignments, individual students created poster projects that offered visual image of the various components of a food chain and what possibilities could happen if a certain living thing is removed from the food chain. This may be done in class with assistance from myself or aides. Other students chose to make a group project video. Technology is very important to be incorporated into a classroom. They learn from technology better than books and note-taking. I follow Facebook daily and have added a few websites that keep me up with technology. I would love to be more involved with my smartboard in my classroom. I feel like there could be so many more possibilities with this technology than what I'm using it for now. I would like to look into some kind of training online or professional development training that I can benefit from. I can see myself in a classroom 10, 20, 30 years from now. I love kids and have been involved with them since high school. Overall, I've had nothing but smooth sailing with this entire program. I was even able to get my intent to graduate through, even though it was a month late. Everyone is so supportive here, and I can definitely see the characteristics of a Christian within this university. I have highly recommended this campus to others who are looking to take that next step in the career. So now I close one chapter of being the student and beginning another as a teacher.